Okay, folks, this is going to be a synopsis of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors meeting on 6/25. And in these past two meetings, one on the 24th and on the 25th, they're talking about money. They're talking about budget. They're talking about you and the safety in the streets and funding and all that sort of business, and parking enforcement with the sheriffs, all that. But here we have, it has been going on forever. Here we have Supervisor Barger, and she has this thing with the pet adoption. Come on, this is supposed to be the county business, and we have the adoption thing going on for like forever. Okay, folks, can we just like move on and just take care of the business that we were there for, to find out what's on the agenda and get it addressed? Thank you.
I have someone with a big heart and big ears for you to meet. This is Kevin, a 15-week-old Chihuahua mix who is looking for a forever home. I know, Kevin. And beautiful olive eyes. If you'd like to adopt Kevin, call the Downey Animal Care Center at 562-940-6898. You can also drop by any of our care centers Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. to meet your perfect pet. This is Kevin, really sweet dog. Dachshund and Chihuahua, and I know, baby. Very sweet. And now
begin with items 14 and then 40, followed by 2, 4, 5, 7, 12, 13, and finishing with item 21, followed by the remaining items not held by our board, as well as general public comment. Before we begin, Executive Officer, please read the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda and explain our speaking rules.
For members of the public
Parks and Recreation's 80th anniversary and the celebration of the Outdoor Children's Bill of Rights, which I held. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. We will begin this item with a video, and we will have remarks as usual. And at the end, I would ask my colleagues to join me in a special presentation to our director and on behalf of the entire department. So first, we'll start with the video.
Preven, please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. Am I unmuted? Because I don't have an unmute feature in mind.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, good. Well, I also love the parks and the park system, the county parks, also the county beaches. This is Parks and Rec, so Norma Garcia, etc. The history of the county operation has been robust. Certainly, the county golf operations are about 17 golf courses. And the thing that always upsets me is that it's run by an onerous private equity company that sucks a lot of money out of it, and Garcia goes along. What we do need is staff. Yesterday's meeting, it was clear there's only one rec coordinator at some of the parks in the county. That's a complete fiasco. So we need to upend the idea that private equity, Goldman Sachs, and the big players from New York were good work getting the AAA bond rating Horvath back in the East Coast. But what we really need is to make the county.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good luck and congratulations.
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Okay, thank you. Here, once again, we have these little parties here, patting yourself on the back for all these good things, and then doing good things. But out here, Roland Heights, and you can go to my YouTube channel and see it's all documented. Decades of abject negligence of the county trails and parks department residential. The people don't feel safe. And you can go to the most recent things where you can't keep the transients out of the air so people can feel safe. And we know about me getting shot because you can't keep the doggone drainage ditches cleaned out of the transients and so forth. Shame on you. Get back to the fundamentals and live within your means. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
I don't know how we don't have at least 80 speakers for 80 years, but I know that there are many more people out there who celebrate the parks each and every day. So I want to thank all of our park staff for being here, for joining us this morning, and those who are out there making sure our communities are supported. Item 14 is before us. I will move it, seconded by Supervisor Solis, to approve the item. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Supervisor Solis?
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Supervisor Mitchell?
Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Hahn, absent. Supervisor Barger?
Yes.
Supervisor Barger, yes. Supervisor Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath, aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. We're now going to move on to item 40, Homelessness Services and Affordable Housing Transactions and Use Tax Ordinance Initiative Petition. It's a lot of words, which I held. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. And I know we have some folks who will be departing from this conversation. Thank you. Agenda item 40 is a letter from Dean Logan, the Registrar Recorder, regarding the Homelessness Services and Affordable Housing Transactions and Use Tax Ordinance Petition. They examined the signatures submitted and certified that they have the requisite number of signatures to qualify for the November 2024 ballot. There were 238,922 needed, and the Registrar Recorder projects 287,217 valid signatures. The board is given 2 options today: to submit the ordinance to the voters without alteration, or to request a report within 30 days and submit the ordinance to the voters without alteration. Measure H is set to expire in 2027, and this board has declared a state of emergency on homelessness. We are facing a crisis of more people falling into homelessness every day, and we're nowhere near close to having enough affordable housing for lower and middle income Angelenos. There is no time to waste. This ballot measure will fund both homelessness services, replacing the critical Measure H dollars, and fund housing production and prevention through the Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency and LACDA through a half-cent sales tax. Marrying services and housing is essential to doing this right. The signatures have been verified, and the coalition of organizations supporting this measure should be able to move forward and make their case to the voters with no delay. So with that, I will introduce a motion and then turn to my colleagues. I would move that the board receive the certification results of the Registrar Recorder County Clerk's examination of signatures for the Homelessness Services and Affordable Housing Transactions and Use Tax Ordinance Initiative Petition and submit the ordinance without alteration to the voters at the next statewide election on November 5th, 2024. Okay, we have a motion and a second. And I will now turn to Supervisor Solis to be followed by Supervisor Mitchell.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair. And I want to thank also the Registrar Recorder, our County Clerk, Dean Logan.
That you do each and every day to ensure that this crisis is being addressed. I know how much you give of yourself to this work, sitting not only here at this board, but also with my colleagues at La Casa and at LASA and at so many other, and the executive committee, so many other tables that we sit at, and we see your relentless commitment on this issue, and I just want to thank you. So with that, Executive Officer, please call the members of the public who have signed up to speak on this item.
Well, Yvonne Wheeler, Miguel Santana, Rick Jacobs, Andre Donato, Dion Turner, Dexter O'Connell, Elise Buick, Katie Hill. As a final reminder for participants on the telephone, if you would like to address item 40, if you have not already done so, please press 1 then 0 now to be placed in the speaking queue. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Patricia McAllister. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Yes, this is Patricia McAllister. I am surprised that you got that many signatures. I don't think you would have gotten the signatures if people know that these home keep properties are sitting there for 9 years or more. There's a 101 unit at 21121 Van Owen Street in Canoga Park. They have this firm leasing out space in that building. Matthews Estate Investment Services. I can give you 5 or 6 more home key properties where they have them sitting there vacant, nobody in it. And what they're doing is they let them sit there a long time. Hopefully we'll forget about them, and then they'll sell it, make some money, put it in their pockets, and then give it to these corporations so they can build and use them, and they might lease out 2 or 3 rooms to the homeless. I've got one here, a motel at 3501 South Western Avenue in Exposition Park, 31 rooms. A 5-story luxury building at 1654 West Florence
Thank you.
Avenue
Your time is
in South LA.
expired. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Eric Preven. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thanks. This is the Measure H replacement idea, and they got 393,000 signatures, but this is very interesting. Jeremy Gray used to work in the executive office as the little political hack for the supervisors. He's now overseeing this one. They only verified 11,800 of the signatures, and then Dean, who is a highly regarded, totally impartial guy, just projects that based on the 3% random sample, at least 287,000, which would be 120%, which is sufficient. So he signed something to that effect on June 18th. You know me to be an advocate for taking care of the problem of the unhoused, but I think that the taxpayers have been exhausted. And whereas I love the fact that Mitchell is so excited about more funding sources and locking up funding sources, we need to be very clear with the people that we are trying to fund the same operation. And I know, we got some of the great ones coming up.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Yeah. Good luck. Thanks.
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Okay, it's obvious under the present economic status of Los Angeles County and the state of California, you couldn't raise it. You need a 10% tax. Where are you going to get the money? And so this is, you should have been a 1 cent tax. Could stop playing around and stop beating this dead horse. Just get it done and sit here and talk about it. And well, additionally, that if you spend 1 penny, just take all the money that you're spending on illegal aliens coming in with this open borders crap, and you should be in jail if you spend 1 penny on this. Shame on you that you would do this to your country and your citizenry that you have responsibilities for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
God damn, I'm good.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in the queue to address the board.
Welcome. We'll go to speakers in person.
Consequences of the housing crisis, and we see the trauma that it creates in our communities. Our organization supports this measure because we need systematic change to address this crisis. The best way to prevent homelessness is by addressing the root causes of it. These measures had experts on the table that work in the community. We are positive that with this, we finally will start addressing the root problem that for years have hurt our community. Thank you for your work, and I look forward to continuing working with you on addressing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you, the Red Chief Hunt. We've been addressing this issue for 20 years now. Jones versus the City of Los Angeles, affordable housing. I support anything that put people in housing, but until we get to the root of all the causes is that the landlords are not taking the vouchers. I've been through it about 4 different times. I'm a living proof of it. We have to bring all spots together and we have to do a better job. But I support this bill. Keep up the good work, you guys. There's never enough done with the people. My resolution is to do a resolution for eminent domain on 1/3, so affordable housing, low-income housing, and Section 8 housing would have to be in every area, Century City, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and everything. We have a lot we come a long ways, but we have a long ways to go. Thank you to Red Chief Hunt.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you, Chair. Eli Lemon, representing Move LA. We stood on these steps 7 years ago. My team.
Understanding and addressing origin and obstacles, ending intergenerational homelessness and housing insecurity, incarceration and systems involvement, and ensuring generational and lifelong success for transition age youth, which was held by Supervisor Solis. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1, then 0 now to comment on this item. Supervisor Solis, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and I also want to thank you for being my co-author on this very important motion. For almost a decade, I have authored many motions aimed at increasing opportunities for the youth in foster care and the juvenile justice system. From expanding housing for youth formerly in foster care to increasing supports to address the needs of LGBTQ+ foster youth, and expanding work development and training opportunities through youth at work programs. Transition age youth navigate so many uncertainties during a critical
difficult thing in our system. So I will be supporting this motion, and I really do appreciate bringing this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Executive Officer, please call the members of the public who have signed up to speak on this item.
Will Dexter O'Connell, Maya Daniels, and Red Chief Hunt please come forward and staff will assist you? As a final reminder for participants on the telephone, if you would like to address item 2, if you have not already done so, please press 1, then 0 now to be placed in the speaking queue. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Lila Murphy. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm so sorry. Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for bringing this motion before us today. I think as every single supervisor and the chair have articulated, this is really essential. These are essential resources that we have, but we're lacking the infrastructure to implement them. And I just want to also draw the connection with decarceration. Half of transition age youth in Los Angeles end up either unhoused or incarcerated. Half. In a system that has 25,000 people in the child welfare system. And I think it's very clear if our incarceration system is just picking up youth who are lacking the services that they need, then there's a deep flaw within the incarceration system itself. And so we need to be closing our jails, decarcerating our
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Patricia McAllister. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Yes, Patricia McAllister here. Yes, we need to end intergenerational homelessness, but I see these Board of Supervisors as causing this problem. Okay, I got the email where you are welcoming these border crossers to come to California and LA County, and you said in the email they shouldn't worry about immigration, harassing them. We have jobs for them. So when you do that, you're adding more harm to our people. Now, like I said earlier, that 101 unit, those buildings belong to our people, the homeless, and you're not doing that. Okay, that building now they're advertising for retailers to come in there. So and boasting about how beautiful the community is. So that means they're not putting any homeless people in there. You already sold it and got the money. I always wondered how the Board of Supervisors, you just spend. I found out that our so-called controller is a businessman. Oscar Valdez, he has no accounting background. And how did he get the job? The Board of Supervisors.
Your time has
appointed
expired.
him.
Next speaker, please.
We must change that.
Our next participant is Alexander Malika. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot of speeches about how, you guys want to do better and how, you want to bring about solutions to address this problem. While I greatly appreciate you bringing this motion today, I just want to point out the fact that it's a shame that the juvenile probation budget is still increasing, and the 2024-2025 recommended juvenile institutions budget is at a record high of $439 million. The CEO's staffing report indicates 300 vacant positions that can be eliminated from the probation budget. Increased investments in salaries and hiring efforts for a system that has a track record of abuse and endangerment is just both physically and morally unacceptable. Every single dollar associated with those positions have been tied to the probation budget since 2019. You have had years to do this with those
Thank
millions
you.
of dollars.
Your time has
You
expired.
didn't.
Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Eric Preven. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. It's Eric Preven from Studio City, and transition age youth deserve a better deal. And, you know, I appreciate Nichols is on vacation. Unbelievable. And where is Supervisor Hahn? I hope she's okay. This is like the third missing meeting. But the DCFS is an example of the county, you know, in its most dire need sometimes, and also at its absolute worst. When you're sitting around a table with 7 people over the future of a child, and none of them really know the child, and they're all kind of on the door, it's just unbearable. And then the solution is a court where you've never seen anything more appalling. And I know that, you know, we reward the people who go in there every day and try. It's such a bungle. It's beyond belief. The only thing worse is the criminal side with the youth probation, where you have been, you know, inflicting self-harm on yourselves by not handling it properly from the get-go.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Let the kids out. Yeah. Thank you.
Our next participant is Stephanie Serrano. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Yes, hello, could you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Wonderful. My name is Stephanie Serrano, and I am a community advocate. I founded an organization called Seeds of Peace, planting seeds of peace in our community, and I've been advocating for many years to support transition age youth. So I'm really excited that this is in the conversation, and I just wanted to continue to advocate for housing for foster and probation youth aging out. Every time you think about giving somebody a contract, a developer developing housing, foster and probation youth are being brutalized in the rental market. You have to earn 2.5 times the income. You have to have good credit. They can't compete. I'll encourage you to look at the coordinated entry system, which has a list of unhoused youth, but there's no housing. You can't connect them to a single bedroom apartment. That's unaffordable for even people with degrees now. So please look into how you can help them rent a room. A designated person
Thank you. Your
to
time has expired.
vet room
Next
rental.
speaker, please.
Our next participant is Maya Hendrix. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Maya Hendrix, and I am a resident of Supervisorial District 2 and a member of the Reimagine LA Coalition. And I urge the Board of Supervisors to continue to uplift efforts such as these that explore ways to support our young people with resources and services in their communities in order to assure that they are not being harmed through justice system involvement. Our youth deserve for us to think of ways to support them through non-carceral efforts by moving money out of the probation and sheriff's department into DYD and other supportive services. Community and stakeholders across the state and the legislature have been making demands for immediate decarceration and full implementation of Youth Justice Reimagined. Because of the board's lack of advocacy and action, YJR vision remains grossly underfunded. We need these dollars to be divested from probation and instead allocated to launch YES teams, safe healing centers, and other YJR components that will bring healing and safety to our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Okay, so first of all, recognize this is a behemoth situation here with this proposition. And you're one person, as I think he hit the nail on the head. You have 300 positions that have not been filled in this? Is this a prescription for failure or not? And then the budget for that organization would be $700 million, maybe even $1 billion, to do it right, to make up for decades of lost time and issues on this. I haven't got the magic wand, but you got to start thinking outside the box. And remember, your girlfriend AOC over the weeks at a demonstration had this big sign in front that said, "It's not about it's about the many. It's not about the money." And how stupid is that? She just buried you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
Wonderful. We'll go to speakers in person. Please go ahead.
Hello again. Hello. Hello again, Board of Supervisors. I want to thank you first for this motion.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Charles Vignola. I'm the Public Policy Manager for LARP, the Los Angeles Regional Reentry Partnership. We strongly support this motion. As a co-sponsor of Assembly Bill 1810 from Izac Bryan, we've been working tirelessly to make sure that access to menstrual items is kept and expanded. We've heard many horror stories of individuals who need, like you said, these very basic bodily products and who have been denied access or otherwise had a hardship receiving them. We appreciate your work on this, and we look forward to seeing how else we can continue to expand the rights and protections for this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Maya Hendrix. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, my name is Maya Hendrix. I'm a resident of Supervisorial District 2 and a member of Reimagine LA and La Defensa. While all human beings deserve dignity in their healthcare needs, including menstruation, and I'm glad that the Board of Supervisors is bringing this policy failure to light, but this cannot be an excuse for more money for policing. Solutions to addressing the needs of menstruating people in the county jails and facilities must not include new funding for incarceration, and should instead focus on getting individuals out of the jail and into Care First community programming pre and post trial. The Sheriff's Department's proposed budget is nearly $4 billion. The department does not need additional funding to care for those that are already in the system, which is an ever-decreasing number of individuals. No amount of funding or increased training will undo the deep-seated culture of violence and dehumanization that underlies LAFC. What the community needs is investment in a mental health workforce to include clinicians, social workers, crisis response teams, and long-term caregivers.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
We need to use
Next
the
speaker,
funding that
please.
we already have.
Our next participant is Lila Murphy. Please. Our next participant is Lila Murphy. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Lila Murphy. I'm a resident of District 5, and I'm speaking with the Justice LA Coalition. On June 6th, in the Civil Brand Commission meeting, we heard from Commissioners Haley Broder and Norma Kubian, who reported on the conditions inside CRDS, where they reported that lack of access to menstrual products was being used, a restriction on menstrual products was being used as a disciplinary tactic. Lack of access to menstrual products is not an oversight of LASD, but indeed a tactic of gendered power and abuse. Of course, we always and unconditionally support the rights of.
Okay, I think we lost our caller, so I'll turn to speakers in person. Please go ahead.
Yes, this is the Red Chief Hunt. This is a no-brainer. Give me an aye vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we able to get our caller back? I don't see her in queue. Okay. With that, item 4 is before us, moved by Supervisor Solis, seconded by Supervisor Mitchell to approve the item. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Item 4 is before you. Supervisor Solis? Aye. Supervisor Solis, aye. Supervisor Mitchell? Aye. Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Barger? Aye. Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath, aye. Motion passes 4-0.
We'll now move on to item 5, financial literacy for youth in Los Angeles County Care and Accountability of Los Angeles County Probation Department's unclaimed juvenile funds and property, which was held by Supervisor Solis. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. Supervisor Solis, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I also want to thank Supervisor Hahn for her support on this matter as well as a co-author. Members, I was surprised to learn that the Probation Department was holding on to over $500,000 that have been sitting unclaimed. The amount has accumulated over many years.
So please press 1 then 0 now to be placed in the speaking queue. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Alexander Mojica. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
We hear you.
Oh, okay. So as I mentioned in item number 2, what I basically want to say is divest from the probation department and start investing in the Department of Youth non-carceral resources so that the youth can have the resources they need to succeed and to thrive. We cannot fund probation. We cannot have an increasing budget on probation. Currently, juvenile probation spends about $800,000 to incarcerate one youth for 1 year. This is equivalent to spending a meal to feed a family of 4 every year for 55 to 125 years. This affects marginalized communities the most. This is not where we want our tax dollars to be going towards. It should also be noted that there has been quite a bit of probation officers who were also put on administrative leave, 39 of which were related
Thank
to
you. Your
excessive
time has
force,
expired.
child abuse.
Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Lena Mallet. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Good morning. Lila Mallet with the Children's Defense Fund, the Reimagine LA Coalition, in support of this motion. Appreciate to the Supervisors, Solis, and the Auditor Controller's Office for leading the push toward rectifying what is essentially the robbery of young people who've been stripped of all they already have. The over $500,000 that's being hoarded by the probation department is yet another example of their long-standing negligent behavior and the harm they perpetuate in these communities. And while watching over the development of a new process for returning unclaimed funds, I hope the board is diligent in pushing the probation department prioritize accessibility and nuance for individualized plans fit to accommodate the unique economic needs and restrictions of our youth and their families. This can and should all be done without deepened investments in the department. And while in collaboration with young people who are formerly incarcerated, their expertise should be compensated fairly, and their feedback should be.
Yes.
With the Children's Defense Fund, the Reimagine LA Coalition, in support of this motion. Appreciate to the Supervisors, Solis, and the Auditor Controller's Office for leading the push toward rectifying what is essentially the robbery of young people who've been stripped of all they already have. The over $500,000 that's being hoarded by the probation department is yet another example of their long-standing negligent behavior and the harm they perpetuate in these communities. And while watching over the development of a new process for returning unclaimed funds, I hope the board is diligent in pushing the probation department prioritize accessibility and nuance for individualized plans fit to accommodate the unique economic needs and restrictions of our youth and their families. This can and should all be done without deepened investments in the department. And while in collaboration with young people who are formerly incarcerated, their expertise should be compensated fairly, and their feedback should be integrated into this policy reform regularly to avoid them feeling tokenized.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Stephanie Serrano. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Yes, hello. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for addressing this item. This seems something so small for maybe folks, but it's a really big deal for youth. I would advocate for using the funds to get youth bags when they leave these facilities, like a travel bag with emergency documents, key things they need in case they find themselves unhoused. Thank you, everybody. Seeds of peace.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
And we have Lila Murphy back to finish your comments on item 4. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, I'm Lila. I'm a resident of District 5, and I'm speaking with the Justice LA Coalition. I'll actually be speaking on this measure. I'm not sure why I cut out on Measure 4. Sorry about that. I want to thank Supervisors Solis and Hahn for introducing this motion. And we, of course, support the implementation of a system which makes it easier for youth to retrieve their own money. However, this must not be used as an excuse to give the probation department any more money. They've showed us time and time again that increasing the probation budget only leads to cyclical trauma and violence.
A Care First Los Angeles means, at the very least, returning to our system's impacted youth their rightful property. But it also means keeping youth out of the criminal legal system to begin with and decarcerating any youth caught in the violent web of incarceration already. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
Are there speakers in person? Okay, seeing none. Item 5 as amended is before us. Moved by Supervisor Solis, seconded by Supervisor Barger to approve the item. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Supervisor Solis?
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Supervisor Mitchell?
Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Hahn, absent. Supervisor Barger?
Aye.
Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath, aye. Motion carries 4-0.
We'll now move on to item 7, addressing hepatitis C in Los Angeles County, which was held by Supervisor Solis. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. Supervisor Solis, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Colleagues, as you know, hepatitis C is one of the leading causes of death from infectious disease. Hepatitis C is a liver infection that spreads through contact with blood from an infected person, and it disproportionately impacts our most vulnerable residents. It's estimated that about 100,000 county residents have hepatitis C. Individuals born between 1945 and 1965, as well as individuals that are currently in our jails, unhoused, or are injection substance users are the ones that are most vulnerable. In fact, 27% of individuals in Skid Row alone, which is in my district, have hepatitis C. Additionally, 80% of individuals suffering from injection substance use disorder have hepatitis C, while 34% of individuals tested in our county jails also represent individuals that have hepatitis C. Hepatitis C can lead to cirrhosis, liver failure, liver cancer if left untreated. Medication can allow us to eliminate hepatitis C as a public health concern.
Our first participant is Shannon Fernando. Please unmute, speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Good afternoon. My name is Shannon Fernando. I'm the Chief Innovations Officer at LA Christian Health Centers. We provide healthcare predominantly to people experiencing homelessness in the Skid Row community. I am the hepatitis C clinical lead for our organization. I would like to speak in support of item number 7. I want to thank Supervisor Solis for her motion to provide equitable access to Hep C care throughout the county. As was said, Hep C disproportionately impacts vulnerable populations, particularly those experiencing homelessness. However, we've seen a 90% treatment completion rate in our vulnerable patients with Hep C when screening and treatment is accessible and robust. When we ensure the equity and access to care for the most vulnerable in our community, particularly a vital public health issue like Hep C, our entire community is made more whole and healthy. So I request the board to please support this motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Jeffery Closser. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you for the motion to increase Department of Public Health and Health Services activities around hepatitis C in Los Angeles. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Klosner. I'm an infectious disease specialist, professor of medicine at the University of Southern California, and former CDC and San Francisco County Deputy Health Officer. Hepatitis C is readily curable, and those infected and untreated can continue to spread infection to others, making lack of treatment a public health issue. Over the past 18 months, USC has been working with the county to reach thousands of people reported with hepatitis C and help link them to treatment. About 1 in 6 did not even know they were infected, and only 1 in 3 were untreated. California state law requires all primary care providers to offer hepatitis C testing, and among those infected, to offer treatment. There is no local monitoring or enforcement, however, to ensure compliance with that state law. I strongly encourage you to support this motion, provide public distribution of the 60-day report, and most importantly, identify funding to address this public health priority.
Our next participant is Eric Philem-Dorsian. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Good morning, everyone. I am Eric Martirosian speaking on behalf of JWCH Institute in support of item 7 to address hepatitis C in LA County. I would like to thank Supervisor Solis for her motion to provide enhanced county support for coordinated reporting, testing, and treatment of Hep C.
Motion initiatives of those focus areas. Adopting these recommendations will advance father involvement, improve pathways to economic mobility, promote healthy and empowered lives, and lead to increased positive childhood outcomes for their children. The Water Ridge Office Planning Committee worked diligently for months to create a memorable event that fosters connections and appreciation for fathers. And so I'm really glad that the Children's Institute will be reconvening fathers at their Watts campus coming up the end of this month. And there will be an ongoing effort to continue to center fathers in these county services to make sure that they are not forgotten, that if there are county services that we are targeting for them, that they actually know about them. So thank you and happy Fatherhood Wellbeing Month. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely happy to support this motion, which builds on the important prevention and promotion work we're building out to coordinate and streamline services for a group that is all too often forgotten as we're thinking about services. So thank you for bringing this motion forward. I know I certainly benefited from my dad's role in my life, and I know we all do when we support our dads being involved. So and having the support and services that they need. So thank you for bringing this motion forward. Executive Officer, please call the members of the public who have signed up to speak on this item.
Babette Chief Hunt, please come forward and staff will assist you. As a final reminder for participants on the telephone, if you would like to address item 12, if you have not done so, please press 1, then 0 now to be placed in the speaking queue. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Kelly Gordon. Please unmute, speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kelsey Gordon, and I am calling in support of item 12, celebrating Fatherhood Wellbeing Month in Los Angeles County. As a staff member at Children's Institute who participated in this process, I want to thank Supervisor Holly Mitchell for her leadership and the Board of Supervisors for acknowledging healthy fathers as integral to healthy families. Last year's motion created some really thoughtful spaces of collaboration that were impactful for fathers in our community and staff. I just wanted to share that one father expressed how good it felt to be open and speak out about his experiences and how happy he felt that people were listening as fathers in the county were working towards solutions together. We are encouraged at Children's Institute by the recommendations to promote fatherhood well-being through targeted outreach, focused resources, and community partnerships that center lived experiences. We look forward to continue collaboration with county departments to ensure fathers are healthy, thriving, and empowered across LA County.
Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Eric Preven. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. It's Eric Preven, and I must say I am deeply moved by this because, you know, for a dad, I am a dad, and I have a dad who I love very much. He's in his late 80s and is still very sharp and vibrant, as is my mother. So I'm very lucky in that regard. And yet, so infrequently are the dads recognized by this group, because this group is highly focused on other groups that are given extraordinary access and platforms. And if I hear the word equity again, I will celebrate like the rest of us. It is so exciting to be just right past Juneteenth, heading into 4th of July. There are so many wonderful things to celebrate, and to put the dads on the table once a year in this tiny little way. I noticed that the postal workers are getting a day in July 1. One day, they deliver 365 a year, one day. Unbelievable. This board has gone so far in the direction of making it right with the men who have been
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next speaker, please.
Family court.
Our next participant is Roy Humphreys. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
First of all, let's have the supervisors stop talking down people of color and so forth. It's divisive. It makes them look like they're stupid. So stop calling them stupid. As to this subject here, we have, why is it in 1965, in the black community, there was 25% of single families with the mama's head. And today it's 71 to 75%. Ask yourself why. You allowed that stuff to go. There's a lot of reasons why on that. So stop talking down and realize that you are part of the problem. And as Denzel Washington said, that boy would not be in prison if he had had a father in his life. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Stephanie Serrano. Please unmute, speak directly to your phone. You may begin. Stephanie, your line's open. Please begin. Unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I'm going to speak really fast. I feel like so pressured too. But my name is Stephanie Serrano. I'm calling on behalf of Seeds of Peace, and I am so glad we're addressing fatherhood. It's actually really important. That statistic is really difficult, and we should be addressing why there's so many single families. I think housing is a root cause. But I would like to advocate for father support groups and maybe tie in sports, something that people want to attend, and mental health support groups for fathers, and maybe connected to every school district, added to 211. I would like to advocate for a point of contact at the self-help places at family court, because self-help is not helpful for our families navigating that, and the point of contact will make such a big difference to support fathers and families. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Patricia McAllister. Please unmute and speak directly to your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. Yes, Father's Day is very important. I remember when the Democrat politicians took the black fathers out of the home, they gave the black women welfare, and they said you have to get rid of your man. And sometimes they would come by and look under the beds and everything to see if the mother had a man in there, because they would take her welfare. Now in the late 60s, 70s, that's when the Democrats put the drugs in the black community. And of course, a lot of the black men and some women became drug addicts. So it was systematic. It just didn't happen by mistake. It was programmed that way. But the thing about it is, it also later affected the white community. So they tried to kill the black community, but they killed their own community also. So that's the way life works. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll go to speakers in person. Go ahead, sir.
I am Dr. Herschel Swinger Jr. I am Dr. Ronald Banks. I am Project Fatherhood. From 2004 to the day that Dr. Herschel Swinger died, who started the program and things like that, who fostered all the fathers in the original Project Fatherhood. I still hear his voice now. Would you really keep Project Fatherhood alive? Yes, I would. We've been through many courses, me and Dr. Herschel Swinger and Dr. Ronald Banks. We kept the program going for 20 years. We still need funding for the original Project Fatherhood, so don't count us out. Like I said, I am Dr. Herschel Swinger Jr. He spent 20 hours with me for 10 years with Project Fatherhood to make sure that it works. So I support this motion. I give an aye motion. Dr. Herschel Swinger, thumbs up.
Thank you. With that, item 12 is before us, moved by Supervisor Mitchell, and I will second to approve the item. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Supervisor Solis?
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Supervisor Mitchell?
Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Hahn, absent. Supervisor Barger?
Aye.
Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath, aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item 13, report on conditions at Men's Central Jail, reaffirm the county's commitment to care, and respond to support those in our care, which I held. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. This board has repeatedly made clear that Men's Central Jail needs to close. While I recognize the complexity of the matter, the county simply must do it. Not only is it the right thing to do, the longer we delay, the greater the expense, and not just in dollars. For those in custody and for our fellow county employees, it must happen. The reports by our civil brand commissioners make it clear that keeping MCJ open is untenable. The reasons why are simple. Those in our care deserve better, our employees deserve better, and we as a county must do better. As this board has said before, we need county departments to work together on a pathway to closure to demonstrate how they will improve conditions until MCJ closes, and to transparently present the needs and challenges they face in ensuring those improvements are in place. The county and MCJ are under increasing scrutiny, and rightly so. This scrutiny will continue until we can provide better conditions for those in our custody, for our staff, and for our community. While I recognize these reports back cannot by themselves address the conditions experienced by those living and working at MCJ every day, they will bring focus to the county agencies providing services there to help the board, CEO, and in particular JSIT, to focus on challenges that need to be prioritized and addressed at each step of the process as we move towards closing MCJ. And this is why I noted yesterday in our budget discussion about making sure we have the resources to do so. I look forward to the reports back from each of the departments identified in the motion and to continuing to work with all of them to make meaningful steps to provide better care to those in custody and to those who work in custody until MCJ is finally closed. Supervisor Solis?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you for asking me to co-author. This has been an ongoing subject for many, many years, and I'm happy that...
Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Lila Murphy. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hello again. My name is Lila, and I'm a resident of District 5, speaking with the Justice LA Coalition. We all read the May 10th Civil Brand Commission report, revealing once again the truly unimaginable abuse occurring behind the locked doors of Men's Central Jail. We heard Broder and Miller describe the unconscionable conditions, violence, gross neglect, mold, lack of water, toxic waste buildup, not to mention the incident of deputies watching porn while there was an active suicide risk in the facility. These are just a few of the many abject violations of basic human rights and dignity that the LASD inflicts each and every day that Men's Central Jail stays open. There is a clear crisis inside MCJ, and yet the board continues to take no action. You've all articulated your commitment to closing Men's Central Jail, and yet nothing changes. The answer is clear. This is not a matter of a lack of LASD policy, nor a fixable culture situation. It is a problem with the LSD itself and with MCJ itself. It is well past time to fully close Men's Central Jail with no replacement.
Thank
Clearly,
you. Your time
the
has
problem is not a lack
expired.
of
Next
funding.
speaker, please.
Our next participant is Patricia McAllister. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Yes, the jails have been horrible for a while. I've done some research because I was trying to find out what's the racial breakdown. Most of the jails and the juvies and the camps, they're now Hispanic and white. Blacks are no longer the majority, so that's why there's concern. When blacks were in there, you didn't care what it looked like, but it's gotten worse. And the juvie, most are Hispanic. Now, many blacks here are on Skid Row, so that's probably, why they're not in jail, and many of them left California because of all the racism here. But yes, the jails and the juvie halls and camps are predominantly Hispanic and white. And that's what the concern is about. It's not, if it was black majority, you wouldn't give a hoot. So that's the game. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Eric Preven. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. Men's Central, I started paying attention right around the time when Zev Yaroslavsky started this civilian commission on jail violence, and the former sheriff, whatever his name is, McDonald, was sitting there alongside all these great geniuses, including, may he rest in peace, Reverend Murray. And, it set up a huge operation, and 100 lawyers working for free, currying favor as county council, and Roger Grambo presided over a massive deflavorization. Now, yesterday, Peter Eliasberg, was cited as one of the most influential people in Los Angeles by the Times. So that's exciting. I hope Rebecca Ellis covers that. And what he and I sued the county because we were concerned about the scorched earth litigation policies, where they were hiring private attorneys to do horrible things, cover up astonishing extreme
Thank you. Your time has
tasering
expired.
acts.
Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Maya Hendrix. Please unmute, speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Maya Hendrix. I'm a resident of Supervisorial District 2 and a member of the Reimagine LA Coalition as well as La Defensa. And I'm thankful that the Board of Supervisors keep talking about their commitment to closing MTJ and moving us towards a Care First budget that provides resources and support, but it's time for action. I urge the board to treat the closure of MCJ as the county public emergency that it is, and put full force and effort behind getting community members out of incarceration as quickly as possible. The ongoing deaths, abuses, and scandals we have heard this year is only more evidence that we must move to get individuals out now, not investing more money into the sheriff's department that we have seen is doing little to improve these conditions. Stakeholders have diligently crafted recommendations and plans to transition from incarceration to a Care First approach. The time for action is now, not for more reports collecting dust. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
Thank you. We'll go to speakers in person. Please go ahead.
Yes, the Red Chief Hunt. Please close Men's Central. Very deplorable. The management and the sheriffs should be replaced by healthcare people. It's been a known fact that people end up dead in Men's Central. So please close Men's Central. Red Chief Hunt.
Thank you very much. I believe that was our last speaker, so item 13 is before us. I will move it, seconded by Supervisor Solis, to approve the item. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Supervisor Solis?
Aye.
Supervisor Solis, aye. Supervisor Mitchell?
Aye.
Supervisor Mitchell, aye. Supervisor Hahn, absent. Supervisor Barger?
Aye.
Supervisor Barger, aye. Supervisor Horvath?
Aye.
Supervisor Horvath, aye. Motion carries 4-0.
We'll now move on to item 21, pilot program to eliminate medical debt in Los Angeles County, which was held by Supervisor Mitchell. For members of the public on the telephone, please press 1 then 0 now to comment on this item. Supervisor Mitchell, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you very much. This is a Supervisor Hahn motion that I am proud to co-author. This is our second partnership on this issue, and in her absence today, I thought it was appropriate to continue to elevate this issue. And so, medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in this country. It leads to poor credit, undermines employment prospects, one's ability to access housing, get a student loan. As we as a county have made a commitment to poverty alleviation, we have that initiative. Medical debt is a main contributor to holding people in deep poverty. It predominantly impacts uninsured families and people of color, especially those who may have emergency room costs. So I'm very happy again to be partnering with Supervisor Hahn in this motion. I'd like to acknowledge the work of the Department of Public Health and what they've done to carefully research and launch this effort in collaboration with advocates, researchers, and our hospital partners. I believe it should be a priority that our county.
And how is that possible? As you said,
We have the first speaker, please.
Our first participant is Tracy Douglas. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
I'm with Betsedic Legal Services. We fully endorse this motion. We participated in the county's medical debt coalition and supported the proposal at that time. In my work, I have seen the devastating effects of medical debt: losing housing through eviction or foreclosure, stress from mounting debt and collection calls, worsening health, and at worst, bankruptcy. California hospitals are required to offer charity care and financial assistance, yet the problem of medical debt still exists. $2.9 billion in LA County. My clients are all ages: seniors, middle-aged, young parents. Some had insurance, some didn't. They had emergencies that they didn't have savings for, like 60% of Americans. Medical debt can happen to anyone. We strongly support the county partnering with undue medical debt to relieve LA County residents from the burdens of medical debt. Medical debt can be purchased for pennies on the dollar. By relieving LA County residents of this burden, we can significantly improve their health and quality of life. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker. Moderator, are you there?
Thank you. Thank you. Our next participant is Patricia McAllister. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Patricia, are you there? Patricia, please try unmuting your line.
Okay, just a minute.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Patricia McAllister.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hello. Okay, yes. Thank you. I'm familiar with this health care plan scam that they have going on. For example, LA Care mailed out brochures before the beginning of 2024 saying they will now cover bridges, but they refused to pay for the bridges. Okay, now they even stopped paying for x-rays. A dentist cannot see you if he can't give you an x-ray. That's the first thing, and that's about $200. So if you can't afford $200, you can't get an x-ray and you can't get anything done with your teeth. So I read that Supervisor Mitchell is on the board of LA Care. I'd like for her to look into this because we need to go to the federal government about LA Care. This is how debt occurs. Now I have a copy of that brochure saying that they cover bridges. And these dentists keep sending them forms. They keep denying, and then sending the patient a bill for an x-ray. So LA Care has reached,
Thank you.
bottom level, and I don't trust
Next
them
speaker,
anymore.
please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next participant is Andy Yam. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Thank you. My name is Andy Yam. On behalf of Rising Communities, we are in support of Agenda Item 21, Pilot.
Thank you. If you have information you'd like to share with all of our offices now, you can share that with our staff and it will be circulated to us. You can speak. She'll direct you.
Madam Chair, could I just add perhaps recommending that they speak to someone from the Department of Economic Opportunity where we have all our workforce and youth at work programs? It'd be appropriate for you to talk also with our new director because that could be very helpful.
Yes, we have our constituent assistance team up in the corner and they'll make sure that you get connected with the right folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here today. Next speaker, please.
Thank you to Red Chief Hunt. Zach, I'm still looking for you from Horvath office, Zach. Holly Mitchell, great event. I got on my Clipper shirt now. So I was very impressed with all the head of departments coming out and things like that. So keep up the good work and thank you for honoring Juneteenth. Thank you, Red Chief Hunt.
Thank you. Any other speakers in person? We have one more speaker on the phone, I believe. We'll go back to you, moderator.
Next participant on the phone is Roy Humphreys. Please unmute and speak directly into your phone. You may begin.
Roy Humphreys, spend one penny on illegal aliens, migrants. You and your staff should spend nights in jail. Republicans brought you emancipation. Democrats killed Lincoln with Democrat President Andrew Jackson vetoing all Congress attempts to protect those freed. Democrats brought you Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow, and should be the only ones to pay idiot reparations, which are not allowed under Article 3, Section 3 U.S. Constitution. County must adopt a Thomas Sowell Day. He's black, by the way, with his T-shirts on Amazon. They're great. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers, moderator?
Madam Chair, there are no other remote speakers in queue to address the board.
That concludes our time for public comment. Executive Officer, please indicate the agenda item numbers on which we'll be voting.
The following items are before you.